Welcome to Into Adventures. My name's Jeff. Sorry I sound a bit croaky, I'm a little bit sick at the moment, but I thought it'd be a good opportunity to make a video. What I was going to talk to you today about is I've got a Rapidbike Evo ECU add-on that I've been putting in. I haven't filmed all the way through just because I don't really know what I'm doing, so didn't want to put you through that, but where I've got to so far is I've got it all in and wired. So I'll run you through how I've done that, because I found it quite hard to follow a little bit hard to follow the instructions and find the right plugs. And to actually get access to them is probably some of the biggest problems without pulling the bike severely apart. So far I would say, to strip the bike down, it's about, let's say about an hour to get down to where you can begin working on the install. And I've spent around about 3 hours doing the install so far, so I would say not too bad. If you've done one before, I reckon a couple of hours install time, plus you're stripping off the tank and putting the tank back on. So let's say 4 hours all up, you should be able to do it quite happily, I would think. So not too bad. So I'll just sort of take you through now and have a look at what I've done. So I'll have the other video, you'll see it in the side panel, and I'll just talk through what I've done. Alright, so I've mounted the ECU unit itself just up the back here. It's really the only place you can put it easily. If you didn't have the alarm, which I've got here, and you had the stock airbox, I have the Rottweiler air intake, you potentially could mount it where the alarm is, around that area. So I've just mounted it here with some velcros at the moment, but I will make a bracket that hooks up here and into these bolts here. So I'll work on that over time, but not too worried at the moment. What I've done, I've run the cabling down the side here and actually run the plugs out through the side, so I can just take the side panel off. I've got access to all the plugs and different add-ons I need, and they're kept nicely out of the way. So we come down through here. I've actually got it running down through here. In my view, the wiring loom's a little bit short, so you've just got to be careful where you route it. So I've taken it down through here because that's about the only place you can really get the plugs down through a hole in here. And then you've got to go around behind all the plugs here. Now this unit has pickups for the 2 injection ports, which are plugs which are right in here, one on top of each inlet and manifold inlet, whatever you want to call it. Then it picks up the 2 O2 sensors, and they're on different sides of the bike. So one is tucked up just behind here, so you can actually see this plug right in here. That is the original plug with the Rapidbike Evo into it. That's it for this side. Then around this side, your other O2 sensor is this grey looking cable here. And the plug just seems to float around in there, so it's quite easy to find that one. But you can actually see where the O2 sensors go into the exhaust. One comes out grey, one comes out kind of a black, but they've both got a wee pattern on them, so that they're not too bad to track back. And then you've got a little blue plug up behind here, which I've now actually cable tied in, which is your crankshaft sensor position. So that's not too bad either. That just sort of seemed to float around. I'm not sure whether it's supposed to mount onto anything, but at the moment didn't. And then the trickiest thing to get actually is this injection port up and behind here. It's just really awkward to get to. You could probably take all the battery and stock ECU out and get to it easily, but a huge amount of work in that. I think if you don't have to disturb that stuff, you're probably best leaving alone. And then we've got the throttle position sensor here. This is where, Rapidbike, you probably need to do a bit better job. It's too short, so I've had to join it here. So I soldered up a new bit of cable onto it. and then your throttle position plug is here, and then you've got the tap that goes into that cable. So that's all pretty good, pretty easy to do. The hardest part is getting access to actually flick these plugs off, and every plug has a different way of connecting basically, which makes them kind of easy to find once you know where you're looking. But you know, getting the injector plugs off, they're pretty tricky because the latching mechanism is quite tough to do when you can't get good access. And that is about all there is to it. Sounds really simple. Actually, probably is relatively simple. I haven't had it running yet, so we'll do that in a little bit. So now the next job's kind of to get it back together. Shouldn't take too long. What else am I doing? Yeah, I'll leave the video going and estimate how long it takes to put it back together. Then we'll give it a run. Now the main reason I chose the Evo Rapid over say a Power Commander is it's all inline, so it doesn't actually change any of the stock wiring. And the other thing I installed here is a map switch, so I can switch between two different maps on the fly. So that's just runs around and back down to the side port piece here. Don't actually know how that works yet, but I'll figure it out as I go. I think once I get it running, I should be able to see which position that switch is in and which map's selected. So hopefully it's that straightforward, or I might be having to reach out to Rapidbike to figure it out. What else is there? That's about it, I think. Main reason I did it, I wanted to get different fueling. They run pretty lean. So I really just wanted to play around with it, see what it's like. Reports are that with a full air intake system, which I've got a decat, aquapobic exhaust. You know, I've significantly changed the airflow and things like that. So in theory, I should get a pretty good gain out of this. And it never hurts to have the engine running a little bit leaner than they do for stock, because it is pretty lean. And the other thing I liked about the Rapidbike Evo is it has an adaptable mode, so you can actually flick it into that and it'll adapt on the fly using all the stock sensors and tune your bike on the fly as it goes, with a variance for rich and lean, so you can control how far it can swing, and it just does that all on the fly, so you don't really need to muck around with it. And all yours, there's no warning lights on the dash because it's all in line with your stock system, so you're not disconnecting any sensors. So you keep the cruise control, which was crucial to me, didn't want to lose that. And I didn't want warning lights on my dash, so the Rapidbike does all that. You can get that with the Power Commander, but when you really start messing around with the Power Commander, you start to lose cruise control and start to have warning lights. So I definitely didn't want that. And I've actually got a mate doing an 890, just waiting for some parts from Rottweiler. So he's gone full hog, he's gone Power Commanders, he's going down to a single disc, he's got all the Rottweiler intakes and decat. Really making it into a race bike, so maybe I'll convince him one day to talk about how that goes, and I'll maybe do a video on that if he's willing. So yeah, that's what I'm up to. I'll now just put it back together. Cheers. Now, when you put the tank on, you got these little rubbers, make sure you get those in. And when you're taking them out, because they're very easy to lose. Spent a lot of time searching for those. First time I took the tank off, Now, one of the things I've put on here is Rottweiler fuel and quick disconnects. I don't have one here anyway, but just means you can disconnect the fuel line. It's a dry brake connector, so I've got one on the cross pipe and one on the fuel line coming down, so makes the tank quite easy to get on and off. No mucking around with hose clips or anything like that. So yeah, worth doing. Okay, that should be that. One thing I would do though, even though they are dry brake connectors, is turn your tank taps off, because they're very easy to push on one side of them where fuel can leak out. But so I still do that even though they are dry brakes. Okay, I think that's me done now. I'll leave this panel and the seat off because I've got to play around with the maps a little more on this. But the one other thing I don't think I mentioned earlier, one of the nice things about this system is because it doesn't change the original wiring loom and just plugs it in line with it. You can actually buy this dongle here, which when you plug it in on the main plug here, just plug this dongle in. It actually bypasses everything that the Evo does. So you have a completely stock bike. As soon as you plug that in, it's completely stock ECU and everything. So that's quite a nice little feature. Just enables you to, if you're trying to find some fault and you needed the dealer to help with that, and then if there's a possibility that the Rapidbike Evo was messing with it, you can plug this in. And you're back to stock. So that's a really nice feature, and that's about it, I think. So I would say, including stripping the bike down, getting it all ready, doing the install, not including making the bracket, which I'll do at a later stage, but doing everything else, getting it mounted, getting it running, I would say we're looking at about 4 hours work. So I think that's roughly about what they think. So I think you'd do it in 4, maybe 5 if you struggle a bit. I do think it's probably possible in about 3, but I did struggle a bit with some of the plugs, getting to them and getting access to them. So if I did it again, I reckon I could do it 3 hours. So not a massive amount of mechanical ability required. I would say just a low level competence around mechanical stuff and you'd be good to go. The hardest thing will be the maps and sorting out how to use those effectively. but as a basic unit I think it comes programmed anyway, so if you don't want to ever do anything to it, you just plug it in and you're good to go. It's going to be a little more complicated using the map switch, but I think I've sort of got the basics of that figured out. I just need to go for a bit of a ride now and see how it goes, I think, and then play from there. Alright, thanks for watching. Please hit the subscribe button, I do appreciate that, and if you found this useful, hit the like button as well, and yeah, thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. Cheers.